In the chaotic vortex of the technological age, when we believe every disaster can be predicted and prevented, something has arrived that is beyond all calculation. It's not a supernova explosion or a rogue asteroid, but an event encoded for millennia, a prophecy that is now becoming a terrifying reality. NASA and ESA's global laboratories have fallen ominously silent, their radar screens displaying only meaningless static. Science still talks about cosmic laws, gravity, and orbits, but the Bible has named this event for a long time, Wormwood. This is not a fanciful tale or conspiracy theory, but an excerpt from the book of Revelation, chapter 8, verses 10 and 11, a prophecy so detailed it is chilling. The prophet John, a companion of Jesus, saw a giant star, blazing like a torch, fall. But the unusual part is that it didn't randomly fall on land or into the ocean. Instead, it fell on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. And immediately, a third of the waters turned bitter, and many people died from the waters that had become bitter. Imagine for a moment, amidst the noise of the modern world, all the most advanced technology suddenly becomes useless. Astronomical prediction algorithms become inexplicably wrong. An object that defies all physical laws is hurtling toward Earth. It is not merely a meteor, but a destructive entity with a clear purpose. In the scientists' desperation, they can only stare at their screens as an illogical event unfolds. 1/3 of the planet's freshwater sources are contaminated simultaneously. Environmental experts have studied pollution. Geologists have simulated asteroid impacts. But no one can explain this phenomenon. 1/3 of the water becomes bitter. It's not ordinary chemical contamination, but a change in essence, a supernatural transformation. When NASA scientists try to analyze Wormwood's trajectory, they realize it didn't follow the rules they had programmed. It accelerated and decelerated at its own will. They were looking for an object that followed Newton's laws, but they were faced with an object controlled by a supernatural hand. It was like when Pharaoh's magicians tried to compete with Moses. At first, they could replicate a few of the plagues, but in the end, they had to admit, this is the finger of God. As the world descends into panic, those who trust in science are left in bewilderment, realizing that not everything can be calculated and explained. A catastrophe named Wormwood has arrived, a warning from the past, proving that human wisdom is only finite. The scientific community celebrated a resounding victory when the DART double asteroid redirection test project successfully altered the trajectory of an asteroid. They believe that, with intellect and technology, humanity could control its own fate against threats from the cosmos. But they were mistaken. Wormwood, the object now hurtling toward Earth, is not a mindless rock. It is a work of destructive art, programmed by a superior intelligence. When humanity's most advanced telescopes scan the heavens, they will detect an extraordinary object. All trajectory calculations, all predictive algorithms will deliver a perfect result. But then, in a single moment, this object will do the impossible. It will break the laws of physics. It will accelerate, change direction, and slip past the most advanced defense systems like a ghost. Scientists will try to explain everything. They will talk about an unknown substance, a bizarre gravitational field effect, or a unique atmospheric phenomenon. They will try to fit this event into the framework of the material world they are accustomed to, but will all be a denial of an uncomfortable truth. There are things in this universe that exist beyond human understanding and control, directed by an infinite intelligence. Jesus himself warned us about the signs in the heavens and on earth before the end times. In Luke 21, verses 25 to 26, he said, "There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars. People will faint from terror, apprehensive of what is coming on the world, for the heavenly bodies will be shaken." Have you ever wondered if the recent unusual astronomical phenomena are signs of this prophecy? Unprecedented solar storms, auroras appearing in places they never have before, or the constant sightings of unidentified flying objects, all seem to be foreshadowing a much larger event. When Wormwood enters Earth's atmosphere, it will not be a typical collision. The interaction between this massive cosmically charged object and Earth's magnetic field will create an electromagnetic pulse, EMP, with devastating power, paralyzing the entire electronic grid on the planet. Imagine, in an instant, All smartphones, computers, modern cars, transportation systems, and medical equipment will become a pile of useless junk. The Carrington solar storm of 1859 crippled the global telegraph system, but that was just a spark compared to the EMP cataclysm that Wormwood will unleash. The prophecy in Revelation 6, verses 12 to 14, describes the sky vanishing like a scroll being rolled up. This is an astonishingly accurate image of what happens when Earth's magnetic field is severely disrupted. Radio waves, television signals, satellite communications, and everything dependent on electromagnetic waves will literally disappear. Decades of military preparation for electromagnetic warfare will become meaningless, as they have only prepared for human-made EMPs, not a cosmic disaster decreed by God. When tears turn to wormwood, imagine a world pushed back to the Stone Age in an instant, a moment before 8 billion people were scrolling social media, shopping online, and streaming movies. Right after, it all became meaningless. Phones turned into soulless blocks of metal. Cars stalled in the middle of the road, and hospitals plunged into darkness. A generation that has become completely dependent on technology to survive is now suddenly adrift. While our grandparents could survive without electricity, knowing how to grow food, and find clean water, we now need Google Maps to walk to the corner. Our entire digital civilization, from massive data centers to bank servers and social networks, has been wiped out by a single cosmic electromagnetic pulse. Experts predict it will take 5 to 10 years to restore the electrical infrastructure. But can humanity survive that long with nothing? The chaos from the electromagnetic pulse is just the beginning. The even more terrifying part lies in the prophecy of Wormwood, which is not just a falling star, but what that star will do to our water sources. Revelation 8 verse 11 specifically describes, "A third of the waters turned bitter, and many people died from the waters that had become bitter." Consider this chilling precision. Not all waters, but exactly 1/3 of them. Earth has approximately 1.386 billion cubic kilometers of water, and if 1/3 of that is contaminated simultaneously, we're talking about more than 460 million cubic kilometers of water becoming literally deadly. Scientists have modeled massive asteroid impacts, but have never found a natural scenario that produces such specific and widespread contamination. In the original Greek text, wormwood is absinthos, the name of a plant that is extremely bitter and toxic. The human body needs 2 to 3 liters of clean water daily to survive, and without it, we can only last 3 to 5 days. If 1/3 of the world's water suddenly becomes toxic, it would be an unprecedented survival crisis. Our most advanced water purification systems are designed to remove bacteria and chemicals, but they would be utterly useless against a change in the very essence of the water itself. This event is not a random coincidence. It is a fulfillment of ancient prophecies. The prophet Jeremiah wrote almost 2,600 years ago in Jeremiah 9 verse 15. Therefore, this is what the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, says, "See, I will make this people eat bitter food and drink poison water." This directly links wormwood to contaminated, deadly water. Wormwood is not just a common asteroid. It is a supernatural entity sent to fulfill prophecy. It is part of a divine judgment. When our sky vanishes, when wormwood arrives, it will bring with it a cosmic night. The prophet Ezekiel, in chapter 32, verses 7 and 8, describes it chillingly. "When I blot you out, I will cover the heavens and darken their stars. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon will not give its light. All the shining lights in the heavens I will darken over you, and I will bring darkness over your land." This description perfectly aligns with what scientists predict will happen if a massive object altered Earth's atmosphere. Particles and dust would block sunlight, creating a nuclear winter that could last for months, even years. The prophet Joel also prophesied about signs in the heavens on earth, blood and fire and billows of smoke. Joel 2 verses 30 to 31, evoking the image of a world devastated and plunged into darkness. But the most terrifying thing is not the darkness, but how it appears. The prophecy in Revelation 6 verse 14 describes, "The heavens receded like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place." This is not a metaphor. It is a literal alteration of space-time. Physicists have theorized about wormholes and the bending of space, but this goes far beyond their understanding. When Wormwood arrives, it does not travel through normal space. It will appear from a supernatural tear in the sky, a portal that connects directly to God's throne. That's why no early detection system will be able to track it. Astronomers will see a massive star suddenly appear out of nowhere. You might think that the technological collapse, contaminated water, and the death of billions is the end. But no, all of this is just a prelude to something infinitely more glorious. The arrival of Wormwood is not the end of human history, but a beginning of the final chapter, which concludes with the absolute victory of good over evil. After all the devastation, a new heaven and a new earth will appear. Revelation 21 verses 1 to 4 describe with great hope. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God. The devastation brought by Wormwood will be temporary, but the glory that follows will be eternal. The water contamination will only last for a short time, but on the new earth, Revelation 22 verse 1 says that the angel showed me the river of the water of life, as clear as crystal, flowing from the throne of God. In the chaos and despair, technology, science, or government are no longer the hope. There is only one way out, Jesus Christ. He declared, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. John 14 verse 6. When Wormwood arrives, without Christ, humanity will be completely lost.